It's Lori. I got a lot of waving going on there, don't I? Let me plug in my phone quick so that we don't lose power. And I got my water. Welcome. It's Lori. Late night Lori from Lori's Little Bit of Craftin. How are you tonight? I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator coming to you from Wisconsin in the United States. And let's see if this is going to work. Yep, awesome. Let me get my computer set up. I wanted to make sure we had sound. And we will get down to business. So thank you for popping in tonight. All right, I think I'm ready. Yes, indeed, I'm ready. So, I have some new lighting. I ordered some new lighting. I don't have it set up yet. Maybe by tomorrow I'll have it set up. And I don't really even have that many announcements. So, let's get this out of the way. You like my little AI person here? So, if you need to know where to find me, aside from Facebook and my YouTube channel here, you can find me at latenightlori.stampinup.net. That's where you're going to find all my Stampin' Up! Things. If Stampin' Up! Has a sale or a promotion, new catalog, new products, my store, it's all there. Okay? So, latenightlori.stampinup.net. I figured that was a lot easier to spell than Lori Macari. Hello, Allie. How are you, my friend? I got your pictures. I think I confirmed I got your pictures. I took snapshots of them, and I will add them to my Facebook page at some point. Those are really cute cards. I just got my paper pumpkin kits yesterday, so I haven't even touched mine, but I did see that one set of your pictures was your paper pumpkin alternatives. So maybe tomorrow I'll break out a kit and just show folks. I usually try to do like one version that's to the kit and then just goof around with some of the other ones. So, all right, Stampin' Up! Has a join offer right now. If you join by March 2nd, you can get this new tool, the Stampin' Positioner, for free. This is a $49 value. There's all kinds of perks that go with being a demonstrator. You know, we get early access to catalogs. We get early access to some of the new product. We get a discount with everything that's delivered to our door. I originally joined just for the kit. Allie, when did you join? What prompted you to join? I mean, I joined for the kit. Somebody had invited me to class. They had a club or something. And I went a couple of times over, I think, a couple of years, because I think that was back in 2015. And I joined in 2017 because whatever bonus there was, whatever joining bonus there was, I thought, oh, I kind of want that. And then when I started seeing the discount and the fact that I could get all the color coordinated stuff delivered right to my door and I didn't have to go from, 4 or 5 different stores to find what I had in mind, I decided to join. And then I haven't left because crafting with other people that like doing what I do was so much fun. So anyway, if you've got bonus day coupons, make sure you burn them by February 28th. If you don't, you lose them. So this celebratory SIPs paper is still on the clearance, on the last chance list. We used to call it the clearance rack, which didn't make sense to me because it's not like it's closed, right? So it is on the last chance list. So instead of $12.50, it is currently priced at $7.50. I thought I would use some of this to make a little mini journal that Stampin' Up! Demonstrated. And I'm just going to change it up because this is not the paper they used, but I don't have much left. So we're just going to play with this a little bit. And Juju happens to join us from Craftin on the Back 40. I told her I was going to give it a whirl because journaling is not my forte. I see a lot of the journals and I think they're fun. But I'm not real confident at it. So that's why I'm working off of something that Stampin' Up! Did. And hopefully I'll get it right. I'm probably not going to decorate it tonight just because our granddaughter is still here. She has to get up out the door early because it takes us about a half an hour to get her to her school because her mom's got some stuff going on early in the morning, so she can't get her to school. So that's why she stayed overnight with us. And I should probably try to get more than just 4 hours of sleep. So I'm gonna try to make this work. We're gonna see how it goes. All right. So the first thing I'm gonna do, this is not gonna be a real big journal. Okay. Oh, Allie, I see this. You joined for the second time 3 years ago, right? You moved to Texas and went to a class to make some friends, and you joined to get the discount, right? Do you do classes now, or do you do it to just, I shouldn't say to just maintain your discount because that's like the biggest deal, right? And you may have told me this before, but if anybody else is in the balcony watching us, they might not know why you joined. And I think it's interesting to hear why people join. You know, I had a woman join my team. Actually, it's been a number of years now. And I received notification that there was an order placed, and I had no idea what the name was. It wasn't anybody I recognized from my area. And I saw the mailing address was Colorado. And so I looked at that and I sent her an email, I think I sent her an email thanking her for her order, but wondering if she had made a mistake because I'm in Wisconsin. And she got kind of flustered and she called me. She's like, "Oh, I thought I changed the address because I'm moving to Waterford and you're in Waterford, I see. And you were the only one that, had a picture on your profile or something." So we talked for like, I don't know, half an hour. The first time we ever talked, it was like we were old friends. And it wasn't too long after that that she decided to join my team. So that's just a little fun story that who knows who you're going to meet with Stampin' Up! Stuff, right? So let's get down to business because I was getting everything set up at 11:58, 11:59, and it flipped midnight as soon as stuff like went live. So I was almost on time or almost here before my self-imposed deadline of midnight. But anyway, so this is just like maybe a 4-page journal with a couple of covers that Stampin' Up! Did. And I'm just going to use these couple of sheets because I need 2 pieces. Actually, I need 4 pieces that are 6x8, and then I need 2 covers. So that'll be 4 pages and 2 covers. So I'm just going to get the bones of this set up, and then, during the week, we can put some embellishment things on here and fill it up with whatever it is we're going to fill it up with. So the first thing I need to do is my covers. And so you do classes with a group of ladies twice a year, and then you do one-on-one classes for 2 different ladies once a month. Oh, that's nice. And then you've got a once-a-week class for free for the senior center. Awesome. So I have a monthly, well, it was monthly for some senior ladies, low-income senior ladies. And they decided with some other things that were going on where they live, because I go to them and it takes me about half an hour to get to them. They decided they wanted to go to every other month. So we've been doing every other month now with those ladies. I do a monthly coffee and a card at the coffee house that's in the village next to my town. And then I just have open studio time and, I do these videos. So, all right. So for the covers, I am going to do 2 pieces that are 4 inches. Let me make sure. Yep, 4 inches across. We're going to end up with a 3.5-inch piece. So we're going to do 4 inches across. We're going to have a score line on here. So I think what I want to do is take this to the edge of this design because I want to have 2 full ones on my covers. So we're going to do this. And then I'm going to flip this around. 300 cards a year for your church. That's awesome. And I'm going to trim it this way at 4 inches. And then I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch. And I'm not going to score real hard because this is designer series paper, so I don't want to rip it. All right. And then here, I'm going to cut it at 4.5. So it's a little longer than it is tall. And if we do, I'm just trying to line this up so I get the biggest bang out of the buck of these designs. I need 4.5. So either way, I'm going to be really close to these edges. But I want to have it as close to symmetrical as I can because I'm OCD that way. So we'll go just a little bit, and I'll do another smidge off of here. So I need 4.5. So if you don't have paper that is going to mess with your mind, 4 across, 4.5 long, and then score it at 1/2 inch. All right. So, and I'm just going to like finger fold this up here. And here's the inside, just kind of basic for that. I would probably have preferred a brighter color, but we can always decorate this with something else. All right. And then this cover then, I also want to have it 4.5. So I'm going to go and cut this at the very bottom of that. Hello, Yuda. Welcome. And we'll do this one at 4.5. And I'm going to go down just a smidge. We'll end up taking just a smidge here to get it 4.5. So they'll be pretty uniform. All right. And then this is going to end up being our back cover. Okay. So this one I'm just going to kind of fold both ways, I guess, because that'll be our back cover. Yuda, I'm trying a little journal. We'll see how it goes. How was your weekend, both of you, all of you? I see we have a few people here that are maybe hanging out in the balcony. Feel free to join in the conversation. The more the merrier, right? All right, so I'm done with this design. So this is my cover, my front and my back. All right, I'm gonna set those aside. And then I need 4 pieces that are 6 by 8. So let me get rid of these other little scraps here. Put them back in the package that I put somewhere. We may end up using some of those scraps, but this is the celebratory Sips? Yeah, celebratory Sips designer series paper that's on the last chance list. All right. And then I might use some of the dies in here. I know I'll be using this one. And I might use this once we start decorating it, but I'm just going to do the skeleton tonight. Because like I said, I need to try to get to bed and get some sleep since we got to get our granddaughter to school early. And a lot of times she just wants Papa to take her, Macman to take her, which is fine. And then I can stay home and sleep because I'm up later than everybody else. So this I'm going to do 6 by 8. So we're going to do 8 inches here. Right? Yes. And then I'm going to cut 2 of these at 6 inches. All right, so we're going to be like so. So these will turn into pages eventually. And then we're going to do another one, 6 by 8. So I have 4 pages. Yep. And then I'll get rid of these scraps so that I don't confuse myself with anything. I'll put those back in the package. So Yuta, you're still working on some scrapbook albums? Yeah, I've got one that I'm working on for our nephew's wife. I need to get that done. Oh, what did I do? I cut something wrong. This should be 6 by 8, and what did I cut it? Cut it 8 by 8? I did, I cut it 8 by 8. So let's turn this into a 6 by 8. And then I'm probably gonna have to find another piece of paper because all of these other pieces are gonna be too small. So let's, why not? We'll do this, we'll do an oddball. So let's see if I can make this 6 by 8. So there's 8, and we'll go 6. It needs to be this way. Yeah, 6 this way will work. Because I'm watching the design on this one. This'll work. And maybe we'll make an extra page. We'll see. All right. That might be kind of fun. All right. So, measure twice, cut once, and Lori messed it up anyway. All right, so let's score these. These are all going to be basically scored the same way. All right, so I need to leave the arm out. Everybody, yeah, I don't want to zoom in because then you're not going to be able to see the scoring here. Hopefully I won't mess up anymore. Hopefully that was my one boo-boo. All right. Absolutely. So my covers, oops, I just dropped, my little cough drop went rolling away. I get those little Halls, little dot cough drops. Oh, found it. It went into my ribbons. All right, so my covers are 4 inches across by 4.5 inches tall. This is scored at a 1/2 inch. So my journal size is actually going to be 3.5 wide by 4.5 tall. Okay. So 4 by 4.5. Score on the 4-inch side at a 1/2. So our journal pages are 3.5 inches wide. Okay. So you'll need 2 of those. All right. So there's my 2 cover to cover. All right. And these will be our bindings. So eventually we're going to put little holes in these. We're going to tie it together with ribbon. Okay. And then you need 4 or however many pages you want, 8 inches across by 6 inches up and down. All right. So 8 by 6. I have 5 here now, so we're probably going to end up doing 5. Okay, we good to go? Now we'll do some scoring. These are all going to be scored the same. All right, we're going to cut a couple of things differently, but they're going to be scored the same. So our first score is going to be at a 1/2 inch because that's going to end up being our binding. Okay, get the cutting blade out of the way. So we're going to score at a 1/2 inch. And again, I'm not scoring super hard because I don't want to rip my paper. We're going to score it at 4 inches because that's going to get us a 3.5 inch side, right? That's going to fit with our cover. So we're going to score it at 4 inches. And then we're going to go over 3.5 inches because that's the size of our page. So we're going to go to 7.5. And that's going to get us this last 1/2 inch. We're going to use that as part of sealing up our pages, okay? Because it's going to be like a pocket journal. And then we're going to turn it whatever way is up needs to be not scored. The bottom is we're going to score at 1.5 inches. Okay. So I got a 1/2 inch, 4 inches, 7.5 inches. Okay. And then 1.5 inches at the bottom. So before I start trimming anything, I'm going to score all of these others. So it's going to be a little repetitious. So if you miss the score lines before, you'll get them again. 1/2 inch, 4 inches, 7.5 inches, The bottom side should be scored 1.5 inches up once you turn it. Okay. And I'm just gonna, because these are such big patterns, you know, there's a lot going on here. I'm just folding these more for me than for anybody else. So again, we're doing 1/2 inch. 4 inches. 7.5 inches. And 1.5. Okay, a couple more here. 1/2 inch. Normally I would score my 1/2 inch to the right of my track because it's easier for me to hold the paper, but I don't want to have to keep turning the paper upside down and make people dizzy or confused. Because I can make you confused enough without flipping my paper all over, right? 7.5. The bottom, I'm going to put over to the edge. And I know if I go to just this edge of the brown on the trimmer, that is our 1.5 inches, because we've got 1 inch, another quarter, another quarter. Okay? Yeah, right, Yude, I can confuse you without flipping my paper all over. I think that's what you're chuckling about, right? All right, last one. And again, you can make more if you want, because you can make this as thick as you want. Depends on how much memory stuff and decor you want to add in there. And then the last one, the bottom, I'm scoring up 1.5 inches. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and fold this arm in because I don't need it out anymore for the next parts. So let's just do this. And I'm just folding those all up. Now, every single one of these, we're going to cut on the score lines up to the 1.5 inches. Whether you use your trimmer or your snips, it doesn't really matter. All right. Sometimes I find it easier to do it with my scoring or my trimmer because I get a nice clean cut. All right. And with all of these, the left-hand side, that little bottom rectangle is coming out. And cut it straight because this is part of your binding, or just above the score line. You could probably angle it too. It really is not going to matter, huh? Because it's going to be hidden in the cover. All right. So we're going to do that. I think I'm just going to do my snips. It might just be just as easy. No, I'm going to use my trimmer because it'll be straighter. So I'm just going to go up to the 4.5 inch line. And then here, you do you, however it works best for you to trim. Okay. Now, this one I'm going to leave in here. Actually, I'm going to cut this one out because I should have trimmed it this way. But we'll make this work. It's fine. Because some of these we're going to end up cutting them both out anyway. All right, and this one I'm going to trim a little further in because I didn't get it on the inside of that score bump. All right. So this is going to be our binding. All right. This we're going to fold up. This we're going to fold back. This is going to fold in. Okay. What I want to do here is I want to cut this as an angle so that when I close this, my pocket's going to be angled. Okay. So what I want to do here is if I go into my trimmer and just pencil mark at 1.5 inches, So I've got this ruler here. Now, if I didn't have a little white piece of paper under here, these numbers would be really hard to see, especially with this paper. I have just a thin, a 1/4 inch piece of white copier paper that I used glue dots that I attached to the underside of my trimmer. I don't know if you've noticed that or if you all do that same thing. But anyway, it makes it easier for me to see the numbers. So I'm gonna mark this at 1.5 inches. And then I'm gonna take this score line and I'm gonna put it in my trimmer guide. And then this 1.5 inch one, I'm gonna put in the cutting guide too. So that I'm gonna make a diagonal line, if I can get this to simmer down. I'm gonna do a diagonal line from my fold line to the edge, and I'm gonna cut, okay? This we don't need. You scrap keepers, if you wanna keep your scrap to do something else, you do it, all right? Mine just went in my recycle bin, all right? So this is gonna come like this, and we're gonna end up putting a little bit of glue here and here. But first I want to probably trim a little bit off of here because it's hanging over the edge, just enough that it's gonna bother me. But I don't want it angled. I want it just a nice straight line. All right, so we're gonna go ahead, and this might be the confusing part. For me, you could just leave this in here flat, and let me get my bone folder because we're gonna make sure these things line up. Because this is gonna come like this, and I want my bottom edges to be nice and aligned. So I'm gonna go ahead and burnish this a little bit. I'm gonna burnish this a little bit. This I don't care about, it's doing fine, okay? This part is an inside pocket so that the stuff doesn't fall out the bottom, right? When you put your stuff in, it's gonna stay there. You could put glue or tape or something in here. I am not going to, because whatever I insert in there, I don't want it to get caught up on any of that adhesive and get gunky and pick up any of that adhesive. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm gonna put some glue on this side. And I'm probably more worried about what's gonna be at the top here. Hopefully this will work, because it's in my head it's working fine. Because if I don't glue this down at all, I run the risk of when I slide something in here, it might come out where there's no bottom, right? And then I'm also going to put some glue here on this tab, this, I don't know what to call that. My seam allowance. Like if I was sewing, it would be seam allowance. All right. And then what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna take this piece and I'm gonna tuck it in around that layer. And I'm gonna have to work it a little bit because it doesn't want to comply. But it will. It's gonna comply with me any minute now. There we go. Now I got glue on my fingers, all right? But now when I open up my pocket, that flap is not flapping in there and nothing's coming out of the bottom, all right? So you can see my little seam here, but nothing's gonna come out of the bottom because it's glued higher up, okay? So it's glued on the inside of here, all right? Now, this piece then, I think I'm gonna put a little glue because I'll make sure that I keep whatever I put in here narrower than my opening. You could use tear and tape also, I suppose, whatever trips your trigger. Seal, tear and tape, glue, whatever. But this way I can just keep it nice and narrow. And we'll just flip that up here. And I want to make sure that this edge doesn't extend past my page because I don't want it to look sloppy. Get my glue fingers off of here. All right, so here's one page to my little book. All right, so that's going to go like this. All right. So I got a pocket here and a little pocket here. Did I do all right? So far, so good. All right, so let's take a different color and we're gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna snip this by hand this time, I think. So let's snip this up. And I'm just kind of miter cutting these a little bit, not a whole lot, but I want to take off that score line so it doesn't hang over the edge. And I think I need to get my, do I have a newer pair of snips? Here, let's do this one because that tip should be really tight. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and snip up this line here. In fact, it's probably going to be easier for me if I do it on, there, I'll give a little more light. If I do it on the back side, right up to that score line. And then this one, I want to cut on the side, on the landscape edge. I want to go in instead of up. The last time I went up and I thought, oh, we'll just cut that out. So this one we can go ahead and we'll just cut it straight for now. All right, and then let's just do a little miter here because what we're going to do is this is going to fold back. This will fold in. This is going to fold up again. And I'm going to play this tuck and roll fight with this again because I like it that way. All right. You know what I could do? I could probably cut part of this off. What if I did this and take it up a little bit? Ugh, let go. That would make it easier for me to tuck. Then I have my pocket. This is going to be like this, except this is going to fold back and it's going to create like a side pocket here. Okay, so if you cut the tab off, like I accidentally did on this one, we'll just glue on both sides there. And then for this, what we're going to do is we're going to take this die and we're going to use just the end of it and we're going to cut like a tab notch. Okay, and the designer series paper is thin enough that it's going to go through two pieces with no trouble. All right. So let's go ahead and glue this. So I want to put some glue here. Because I don't want that pocket flip-flapping so that anything falls out of it. And then I may as well put my glue here right now. And then when we push this over, this will tuck a little easier now. So I highly recommend cutting that angle. All right, and now our little flap is stuck here, but not to the back. So nothing's gonna come out of here. It just looks like a nice little seal here, okay? Like folded paper. Cute, hey? And then this piece, I'm going to put glue here. And I'm going to leave this side open so I can just slide that way if I want. But I am going to trim this a little bit, so I'm trimming off that score line. I should have probably done that before I glued it down, but you know, we live and learn sometimes. All right. And I'm just going to leave that loose. Now I could round that off if I wanted to. And if I was going to do that, I probably could have taken like my corner punch. I don't know if my old Stampin' Up! One will reach into here because of it being glued. Because I glued it already, it's not going to fit in there, you know, if I tried to do that. But I think I might like it curved, so maybe we'll do another one that way. So now here we've got a cover, a page, a page, a page, a page. Now, yes, a pocket page. I was thinking there should be 2 sides, but we can decorate this, you know, put a little picture, put a little journaling card, whatever, okay? So let's do the next one. We'll use this one, I think. Actually, we might end up doing this because we'll have 3 darks and 2 lights. So we'll do every other one. All right, so let's do this one next, and we'll make another angle one, I think. Yeah, you think? Will that work? Because if we do, we're gonna do it like so. We're gonna mark this at 1.5 inches. Hopefully I can see that when I go to turn it. And then I'm just gonna pencil mark this where my score line is, because sometimes my eyes don't show me where it should be naturally. All right. So then let's see, we want to cut out this piece. So here, hopefully I'm not below the screen. That's where you can use cutoffs to coordinate. Yes, absolutely. You don't like to make the corner? Absolutely. If that's what you're referring to. All right, so we're going to do that. And then we cut this one off before. I think I'll keep cutting it off because that's fine. And I'm going to cut off that score line bump. We're going to cut up here, and I'm going to miter it just a little on this side. And we'll straight cut this to take off the score line. And then I'll just trim that off. All right, so this I should have done like this. That's what I should have done with the other one. I should have folded. I did. I think I did it right. We'll see how this looks. Yeah, that's going to be right. So here we're going to trim this like so. We're going to miter this like so. We're going to fold this back and this back. I'm going to go ahead and miter this because it'll make my life easier. And then we're going to take part of this off because that worked really well last time, right? We're going to take that off like up to that thing. Maybe by the 3rd or 15th time I'll have it down pat, right? All right. So this is going to get glued here. Let's just burnish this because I think we're good with our lines. I just want these to match up nice because I don't want uneven edges. I scored them pretty good. Now I pulled in my cloud cover ribbon, but I'm thinking we'll have to color it because cloud cover is not going to work with this. And then I'm going to go ahead and put some glue here. Hopefully this repetition isn't too painful. Hopefully it's a little entertaining watching me remember what I just did a minute ago. All right, I'm getting better at that part. All right, and then this piece we're going to glue here. Did I do that last time? I didn't do that last time. I messed up last time, I think. I keep looking at it and think, oh, I did it right. I don't know if I did. And then this piece is going to come up here. I did. It's the same as the last time. I don't know what I'm thinking. Oh, and I should have rounded that before I glued it. Silly me. All right, so there's another pocket that nothing's going to fall out the bottom. The bottom looks nice and tidy. So there's our next page. All right. Little pocket there, little pocket here. We're going to put those notches in here though, remember. We've got this pocket, this angled pocket, and now we're going to do another one of these, but I'm going to make it just like this one so that we can put the notch up here. So this is going to be, this will be the outside. Yeah, that'll be the outside again, because that one's pretty busy. Yeah, we'll do this as the outside. All right, so this is again our binding. Whew. I'm gonna trim this up. Oh, I can miter this in because that flap's gonna get glued up again. I'm cutting off the score line. I'm gonna miter this in a little bit. I'm gonna cut this one straight to take off the score line. It helps reinforce it for me too, because this is the first one I've made. And then this one, make sure we're cutting on the side. And we can miter the top part, and this one that's gonna get tucked under too, so I can miter that side too. All right, and we can even miter that a little bit more. All right. So we're gonna put this up. This is gonna go back. This is gonna go back. All right. So up, back, back, up. Okay. And let's just make sure these line up nice again so they're nice and tidy. All right, so let's put some, oh, one more thing. I want to snip this at a nice sharp angle up about 1.5 inches-ish. All right, so now I can glue here. We can put some glue here. Now, last night I was saying that my granddaughter wanted to do a video, and we did a video, but it looks like YouTube is still trying to convert it to some HD file or something. Now, when I go in and click on it, I did make it public, so I don't know if you guys can see it or not. But if you see a video that doesn't have like a thumbnail on it, but if it'll let you click into it, it's probably her. It should say guest stamper. But I'd like for it to go live while she's still here over the next couple of days so I can show her that people watch her videos. She told me yesterday, she's like, Grandma, I want to have my own channel. I'm like, well, I don't know where you're going to get people to follow you right now. So you can still use my channel. And besides, you're not 18. So I'm not going to tell her that there are people that are not 18 that have their own channels. But she's already thinking she wants her own channel. Oh, and I could have, let's do this. Let's put this up. Let's go ahead and use my old, this is retired, but if you have one or some other corner rounder, let's go ahead and live and learn instead of keep doing the same mistake over and over again, because that's what they call insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, right? All right, so there's another page. Now remember, this is going to have a notch in it. This one's going to have a notch in it. So we've got a notch, Angle, angle, notch. I think we'll just do another angle. Even though these two angle ones are together, I don't think I'm really worried about that, are you? I could always do a 6th page, I suppose. Put you folks through more pain of watching me. Of course, this one maybe I should use. That would change it up a little bit. I could do that one. The cover's going to be like this. I don't know, what should I do? Bright? And leave that to the inside then? I think maybe, yeah. What do you think? Do a 6 page? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do another page. Hello, Lori from Minnesota. Yeah, I never got the stamp set for this because I'm not much of a drinker. I got my water, my tea. So yeah, let's do this one. And I wonder if, do I have one more that's really busy like that? I could do this one. I mean, if we're going to make it wild and crazy, why not, right? So you like the 5, Yuta? Well, we can start with the 5. I could probably just finish this one and see where we go with it. So let's go ahead and cut off the score line. Cut this in. No. Because that's going on the outside. Oh well, live and learn. That's late night Lori for you. I should have quit while I was ahead. I should have paid attention to what I was working on. It's all right. It'll work. It'll work. Alternate the dark with the red. So I could put this one. I was going more for, I was doing every other one. And then I was thinking if you're saying the dark with the red one and then put this one in the middle, right? So it's symmetrical. Fruit slushies, right. Do you still have Applebee's by you? Because all of the Applebee's by us closed. I think that could work. We'll put that one in the middle. All right, so let's finish that one. All right, so this is going to come up like so. This is going to go back. This should have gone like this. But at this point, I have so much cut off of it, I'm just going to have to cut the whole thing. That's all right. We'll just glue it. Not a big deal. And then this piece is going to fold in. And because that's going back, we're going to cut a nice big angle off of here because we're going to, oh wait, are we going to do the pouch or the angle? Probably the angle. Yeah. Should I do another angle one or a pouch one? Because if I do this, if I glue it now, it's going to become a pouch, or I could do an angle. Let's do another angle. I like the angle one. All right, so let's go ahead and mark this at 1.5 inches. Pencil. Where did my pencil go? Aren't these cute? These are Stampin' Up! Pencils from one of our on-stage events. I love them. All right, so here I can actually see my score line in the track. Here's my 1.5 inches that I marked down. So let's go ahead and cut that off. All right, so this is going to go back. This is going to go up. This is going to come over. I'm going to cut this at my hard angle. Yeah, because I'm going to tuck that. Yep. I should just stop second guessing myself. Once I make a mistake, then it's like, oh my gosh, did I do that wrong? All right. And we got our other little cover over here. So let's go ahead and put glue on the front of there. And I should have probably made sure that my angles were right and my score lines were working, but it'll be fine. All right, so here we're going to go ahead and tuck that there. So that our little pocket flap on the inside won't let anything fall through, just like before. So we got our nice little cute pocket here, and then this one we'll just glue up on the sides. It'll be fine. I actually think that's how it was demonstrated when I saw it from Stampin' Up. But I thought, well, why not just keep that flap on there, except like me, when you cut it wrong, you cut it wrong. And that I kind of angled probably a little too much, but it is what it is. Have a little too much glue there. All right, so let's see what we've got. This will come in here. This will be the back. So we've got cover, pocket, so kind of a side pocket, top pocket, decorate, slanted pocket, pocket, decorate, pocket, full pocket because I glued both sides, decorate, or I could put little other pieces on here to make more pockets. This one I remembered to cut off the curl or the corner, so that's a pocket. And then this one is going to be a side pocket again. And so let's go ahead and take this one and this one, and we'll get those notches cut. So let's get rid of this. And we're going to use the die out of this Lovely Arrangements. And we're going to cut little notches out of here. If I can get that off the paper. All right, so we're just going to go like this and cut notches. All right, so if this is, oh, let's get rid of all these little pieces here so I don't look like the messy stamper that I am. Messy crafter. All right, so if this is 3.5 inches, that would be 1 3/4, right? Would be in half. No. So 1.5 would be 3. That should be, oh, I kind of moved it. All right, so that's about in the middle. It doesn't have to be perfect. All right, so let's get Bossy Bessie up here. Our base and our shim, cutting plate, and we're just going to line this up so it's kind of in the middle. It doesn't need to be super big. And hopefully that's straight. Alright, so now we have our notch. How fun is that? Cute! Alright, and then we need to do the same thing on this other one. And that should be pretty close to the same depth. I could have used one of those scrap pieces to measure it up, but it's not that important to me. So that's the Post-it tape. All right, let's move this out of the way for right now. And we'll put that die on the magnet. Get her out of the way. All right, and then let's just see, we've got a cover. We could go with the light one, the dark one, the light one, the dark one, the light one. So now we've got pocket, or we've got an angle, a notch, an angle, and a notch. And then our other cover. Do you think that works, or should we do notch, angle, angle, notch, angle? Probably doesn't really matter one way or the other. I think I kind of like the dark in between the other. Well, it doesn't matter because we've got some dark here. And then I want to take another piece of paper, and I think I want to cover up this side because I don't particularly care for that design. So let's find, that's going to be a lot. Maybe just some of this polka dot. Let's see if I can find some scrappy pieces. Or let's see. Let's pull out some of these other scraps, see if any of them are big enough. Would that be too much? You like the dark where it is right now? Okay, cool. These inside covers need to be different. Maybe I'll just do them in this. Some card to reinforce the cover. I think if I put another DSP, that would work. Or I could put just plain old cardstock, you mean? I could. And that would be less busy. That's a good idea. Let's do less busy. So now let's figure out what color we've got. Whoa, losing my scraps. All right, so let's do strawberry slush. I think I like that idea, strawberry slush. And then we're going to cut it at 3.5 by 4.5. I better go 4.5 here because otherwise I'm only going to have 4.25. And I'm going just a smidge smaller than 3.5. So we can still decorate the cover with some elements. I don't really want the plain. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. Plain, then you can decorate the front cover. I'm going to do this way. I want that like so. And I think that's good. Right inside the edges, that'll work. We'll put our glue on this side. And I don't want to necessarily have the cardstock go all the way through to where the binding is going to be because I need to punch holes in that for my ribbon to hold it all together, right? So let's just do this. And because it's liquid glue, I can shimmy it around. I got that wiggle room. Beautiful. And then we'll do the same to our back cover. We'll put glue on this side. Beautiful. Yeah, it's going to be on the inside. All right. So this is going to be our little journal. Now, do I need, those of you who are journal makers, do I need to put any spacers in here at all? Like extra layers in between so it doesn't do that? Or if I put ribbon around here, that's not going to matter. Or if I put a tie or something. Maybe I should have made a buckle for it. At any rate, let's go on to the next step and then we'll finish the rest tomorrow. So this, I don't know if this is going to work. Let's look at, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a template. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a template. Let's cut this at 4.5, right? Let's just do like an inch. And then we'll go 4.5. All right, now, yes. All right, so then what I want to do is, if I have 4.5, if I go 1.5 inches and 1.5 inches, 3. So if I go at 1.5 inches and 3 inches, I think that'll do me. And I cut that crooked. 1.5 and 3. All right, so 1.5 and 3, that'll put my 2 holes there. And then I have to have them at about 1/4 inch. Let's get another ruler here. So we need to be 1/4 inch. Sometimes math is hard. So I want it to go right there. And right there, because our binding is 1/2 inch. So if I do this at 1/4 inch, use a ribbon or twine to bind the pages together right. Then they can be untied and loosened to add as items are added to the journal. Okay. I just didn't want it to be so bulky here and then, you know, nothing here. Because I was thinking if I put like little spacer pieces in here, even if it was cardstock, because these are all doubled, right? But we'll figure it out. That'll be a problem for another day. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to hole punch here where my little X is. That one doesn't look like it's the same. Does that look the same to you? Term is gator mouthed. What is gator mouthed? To put the fillers in there? So let's just see. 1/4 inch. That one's off just a little bit. That one's off just a little bit. I need to take it in just a little bit more. So much for my precision. All right, so now if I do this, now all I have to do, because these are, I think this is going to be too thick if I try to do my punch through all of them. I don't think it's going to go, it won't go through all of those layers. So we're going to go like this and like this. As best I can. All right, one. And I suppose I could have spaced them out a little further together, but it is what it is now, right? Well, that one doesn't want to work because this is so thick. That layer is pretty thick. Resistance is futile. That one side where I've got my pocket folds is a little more snug to try to get this inserted to do my punching. Might have to find another hole punch. Excuse me. I think this one will be pretty close. This is an old Stampin' Up! One. So whatever hole punch you have, make it work. Well, there you go. You got a great tool. But I still like the idea of having my template here if I'm doing one page at a time. At least I do this when I do bags too. If I'm going to put a hole in a bag for a ribbon handle. This will work. It's just a little cumbersome, that's all. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I have a legal 2-hole punch, but it's going to make jumbo hole, well, not that big, but regular full-size hole punch, and they're going to be further apart because I used to work for the court system, and I was a paralegal, so we had to bind things in our files in different ways so that they lifted off the top, not the sides. Pronged folders, you know? All right, last one. Maybe it's a good thing I didn't do a 6th page. We'll still be fighting with it. All right. So that's going to go here. So these will hopefully all line up nicely. Look at that. And if they're a little off when you do yours, all you need to do is take your pick tool and either line them up or stretch them out a little bit. Okay, so let's take a look at this because I don't think this is really the color I want anymore. So I'm going to look at some other ribbons that I have. I might use some retired ones because I think I have some strawberry slush ribbon. That might be good. Yeah, this is strawberry slush. I wonder if you can still get this. Let's take a look. Yes, you can still get this ribbon. So the strawberry slush is still available. So let's go ahead and give that a whirl. All right, so what I was thinking I could do is, sometimes I think too much. All right, so if I put the 2 pieces through to the bottom and then bring them back up to the front, I can put a bow on the front. And then it'll look pretty on the front and the back, I think. Let's just put a whole bunch on here because I've got a lot. So I'm gonna go ahead and maybe snip this pointy that way. Oh, I should probably have done it pointy toward the fold. That would probably work better. Let's just see what this looks like. And if I have to use my take your pick tool, then I use a take your pick tool, but I think, in fact, let's try something else. Let's try to put some tape on here and make it like a shoelace. That might not work either. We'll see. It at least makes it a little more stiff. Pretty. And then if I have this come back up here, this one will come down and cross over. I'm just trying to see how much longer I need it. I'm just going to make it a lot longer. All right. And I guess I need to tape this edge too. Let's see if I can do this a little better this time. Probably not. My fingernails are too short to get it to go as tight as I want it to. Yeah, you can certainly adjust your paper size to make the hinge a little bit bigger. All right. Let's see if I can take this through multiple layers instead of one at a time. This one I wound a little tighter, so that might work. Okay. Cute so far. Let's see if these are pretty even. They're not. So let's try to make them more even. All right, and then let's put this one. Good night, Yuda. Thanks for popping in. Of course, my binding, I think, is going to be a little more permanent. I'm not going to want to re-string this each time. So if I want more pages, I'm going to make another little journal. through far enough yet, I guess. There we go. So that'll look very pretty on the back. And then on the front, we can have a cute little bow. Let's see here. Usually I have to kind of tie upside down. I don't know if it's my left-handedness or what it is. We'll see how it looks. So I just need to kind of twist this, I guess, so it lays a little flatter like I want it to. This side's pretty good. This one doesn't want to comply. So I need to twist it this way. We'll get it. There we go. There. We survived. And I didn't really have that much extra on each side. But how cute is this? All those little pockets and slots and plenty of places to decorate things. So, and it's actually pretty even. It looked more even than when I was flipping stuff out because it'll bend a little bit. But there's our little mini journal. I'm going to hang on to these pieces because when we make some of the tags to go in here, we can put little ribbons on them, or ribbons like this way. If I do, I can sandwich them in a tag and we can put tags in there. So I'm going to hang on to those. I'm just going to cut my little tape things off because I'm not going to need those anymore. Whew! That's it. That was kind of fun. There we go. So, thanks for hanging out with me, everybody. I appreciate the company and the suggestions for making things work better. And we'll come back tomorrow night, or later tonight rather, because it is after midnight. We will come back later and I will either decorate this or do a paper pumpkin, because my new paper pumpkin came and I should really work with that. In fact, my granddaughter might want to do a little video with the kits. So you're making one right now, Allie? Awesome. When do you sleep? All right, so you're making one now. So far, the cover is the 4 inches top and bottom. Mine is 4.5. This is 4, scored at 1/2. So this is 3.5. So the width of these pages is 3.5. You can make it bigger however you want if you're doing that intentionally. I just didn't want to mislead you with the measurements that I used. Does that make sense? So if you're changing yours up to be a different size, awesome. I mean, it's really easy to modify, right? Especially since I didn't do any specific designs on here. So now what I want to do is when I use these, this is the one die that I was talking about a while back where I ended up using circles that I put together to make some scalloping. But we could do this and then cut off a couple of rows so that I've got a square or a rectangle that's more proportionately correct. So we'll play with that again. We'll play with that some more. And then let's get this in here so I don't lose it. All right, so I'm going to call it a night. thank you, everybody. I've kind of gotten some of my stuff cleaned up here. And almost cleaned up. We'll keep that out. But the paper I used here, the celebratory sips, is on the last chance list. So if you want it, it's only $7.50 instead of $12.50, which is a pretty good deal. And now I've used up almost my whole pack. So we'll get this out of the way. You don't sleep much. You'll get from 2:30 to about 8. Yeah, tonight I'll probably have from around 2 to 7. Yeah, and then I might end up taking a nap. Depends on how tired I am later. Or if I get a cat nap in the car when we go pick up my granddaughter from school. So, whew. That was actually pretty fun. My first one. Juju's going to have to catch it on replay. All right. Lori, thanks for popping in. You can go back to the very beginning, obviously, and get the measurements. It's pretty basic unless you were in the balcony watching. I'm going to have to look up gator-mouthed. I'm not sure what that means. Gator-mouthed. If I don't write it down, I will forget. All right. So, thanks, Allie. You'll have to show me how your little journal works out. Lori, thanks for popping in. Yuta's already left. Was anybody else on chit-chatting with us? I think that might have been it. For those of you in the balcony, feel free to join in next time. Let us know where you're joining from. And until next time, happy crafting.